Hello and welcome to the Southside Unicorn Show. My name is Deadbeat3K and a fellow patriot. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, DLive, and Twitter. Just search for Deadbeat3K. I also run a podcast called the NPC Trauma Support Center, and that can be found by searching NPC TSC on Instagram and Twitter, but is hosted on the Deadbeat3K YouTube channel. Enjoy your stay and much respect. You are now tuning in to the Southside Unicorn Show, hosted by the one and only Ken White.
What's up? It's Wassup Saturday. Man, this week has gone so fast. As a matter of fact, this whole year has gone fast. What is going on with 2019? I guess we must be in a hurry to get to 2020 so we can re-elect Donald J. Trump. You know, that's what happens when life is good, when you're having fun, time flies. You know, unlike that time when, what's his name? Obama was president. It was, man, that was a drollery. It was going by so slow, so bad. You know, speaking of that, you know how we do it on Wassup Saturday. We just talk about what's going on, just general stuff. But I want to flip the script today. I want to show some love to the veterans. I want to, get some of these artists out there because this is how we do it, guys. We have to support each other. Iron sharpens iron. Ain't no time for no haterade up in here. That's what Democrats do. That's what leftists do. That's what Hollywood does. That's what homies in the hood do. They covet. They kind of, like block and try to make sure they stay on top and you at the bottom. That's their thing. In the Republican Party, the Christian Party, the Conservative Party, the true men and women of God, we uplift each other. We hold on to each other's hands. We promote each other. We make sure that all voices get heard as much as humanly possible and not just, a select few. There's a wide range of thoughts out here. There's enough horizon for everybody. And speaking of which, I want to thank you all because, man, I'm looking at these demographics. Thank you. You could upgrade that donation part a little bit. I truly appreciate it. But this is really how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. You can go inside of a grocery store, look inside the freezer and grab yourself a cake, take it home and eat it, enjoy it. Pretty tasty cake. But the best cake you'll ever eat in your life is the one where you cracked the eggs, where you sifted the flour, where you put the butter in. That is a cake. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we are doing with the Southside Unicorn Show because you listen and then you have the kindness and I don't know what the word is I'm looking for because I'm just so pleased. You then take the show and say, hey, check this out. Or you retweet it. You at least click a like. You join the membership over at Spreaker so that the numbers grow. So that over at Spreaker they go, this show must be really hot. And then they start doing stuff for the show. So thank you for that. In the spirit of Petey Green from the 1960s, he was a voice, just a man with a voice and a gift. And through the racial tensions of the 1960s, the civil rights issues, Petey Green was there. Well, here I am. So let's get started. Let's not go into it in a dally-dally. We're going to start with the NRA because, see, that's where the real situation lies, ladies and gentlemen. That's where the rubber hits the road. Imagine this. Say you only 99 pounds soaking wet. No, you 99 pounds with a parka on. And somebody wants to beat you down. Well, they can want to beat you down all they want to. They can be bigger than you, same size as you, whatever. But if they know like they know, you packing a Mohaski, a heater, a strap, a pistola. They know you got something like that on you. Oh, they're going to think twice before laying their hands on you. But now I want you to imagine that they know like they know that you don't have a weapon. What do you think's going to happen? Man, they coming at you with both hands and feet like Deacon Frost and Blade. You know what I'm saying? And you got problems that day. And so I'm not saying that you need a gun to protect yourself. No, just like with Fridays, where homeboy said, we used to fight with our hands. Some you win, some you lose. Well, a good fist fight has its place. But don't be fighting no coward. Don't be fighting no poop butt. Because, he gonna run to the trunk. He gonna run to the trunk of the car. And what is he gonna get? The equalizer. That's right, the equalizer. These things we call firearms. So we're gonna start right there, okay? But we're gonna start from the basics and work our way right on up to it and have a nice little discussion. Throughout the show, we're gonna go ahead and showcase some of our own artists that we have, because we do have to promote each other. So my brother TootsSweet, he came out with a new song that's actually dedicated to the NRA, and that's why we're starting off the segment with the NRA and the history of it, and we'll end with his song. There are other artists that are coming out, and they asked me to show their wares. I'm doing it because they are supporting veterans. So we'll talk about them later on in the show. Let's get started, shall we? The NRA was founded in 1871 after the Civil War by an Army and Navy Journal editor. Sometimes this stuff is written so weird. William Conant Church and a General George Wood Wingate of the Union Army, who were both dismayed at the horrible accuracy of the Union soldiers during the Civil War. The original purpose of the organization was for the rifle marksmanship training, because these guys couldn't hit the side of a barn. So they said, we got to come up with some regimented training that can get that done. With gun control being a hot topic, in addition to the Obama administration recently unveiling 23 executive orders to address gun violence, the National Rifle Association has been front and center in the debate against such measures. But the NRA has a long and storied history that goes beyond just opposing additional gun control legislation and being the chief proponent of the Second Amendment in the United States. Here, we will go over 10 facts, 10, that the NRA, about the NRA, that many do not know, in order to gain some insight into the background of the organization. Check this out. Pardon me. Number one, the NRA was originally not a civil rights organization. The NRA was founded in 1871, as we said about the General and Conant. They formed it, right? And that means that in 1871, that makes them older than the NAACP. You know what I'm saying? That weird organization that no longer seems to represent the true interests of African Americans. Yeah, that's right, I said it. They're a bunch of suchy-muchers. They've actually become, in my opinion, the Sadducees and the Pharisees. That's just my opinion. Number two, the NRA has a history of being for gun control, ironically. In 1934, the NRA supported the National Firearms Act, which served to regulate and tax firearms that were considered used by gangsters at the time. They also supported the Gun Control Act of 1968. Some like to say that was spurred on because of the Black Panthers and that white men was freaking out because the brothers was packing heat. But we'll talk about that in a couple other points here in a minute. Which expanded on the system to license firearm dealers and prohibit criminals and those with mental impairments from owning firearms. Now think about that. That was back in 1968. The NRA is saying, look, let's do more about mental illness. Because, okay, watch this. With all due respect to the mentally challenged, you are not going to give them a bulldozer. You are not going to give them a Mack truck and say, take this load to Tennessee. You know what's going to happen. There'll be smashed up cars everywhere. So what's different here? Why all of a sudden do we want to ignore the fact that mental illness could be a contributing factor to the misuse and abuse of firearms? Why? We'll get to that too. Number three, the NRA has a history of supporting the civil rights movement. Say what? While African Americans were being terrorized by the Ku Klux Klan, where the Klan was sometimes aided by local law enforcement. You know, sort of like the chief of police over there in Portland, Oregon. They decide what they want to enforce. You know, they don't enforce all the laws, just the ones they like. And that's what I've been trying to warn my fellow African Americans about. You out here supporting the Democrat Party. You got black mayors and black chief of police, but they're doing stuff that will make Idi Amin Dada happy as hell, and you steady cheering them on. You're literally lining yourself up for a trade, if you know what I'm saying. So, let's keep on. The most prominent case being in 1960 in Monroe, North Carolina, where the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, those people go, the NAACP, right? Head Robert Williams also chartered the NRA Rifle Club that successfully defended an assault on one of their leaders' homes by the KKK without casualty. See, that brings up that point I was trying to tell you. When you got a strap, things kind of turn out all right because you can defend yourself. It's all about defense, not offense. Number 4, the NRA is active in wildlife conservation. The NRA supports wildlife conservation through efforts to open lands up to the management of hunting. For example, under the Pittman-Robertson Act of 1937, proceeds obtained through a tax on hunting, firearms, and ammo were used specifically to research, build vast arrays of wildlife species and habitats. So, for all you tree huggers out there, all you guys that say you want a green world, what's up with that? The NRA is lockstep with you. They're trying to work with you. But you ain't feeling them, right? I wonder why. The NRA offers extensive firearm training programs. The organization offers training programs for civilians as well as law enforcement. The training programs offered are even recognized by law enforcement as acceptable to fulfill training requirements for concealed carry licenses, like the one I got. Today, the NRA has trained over 10,000 police and security firearm instructors and 5,500 certified instructors who in turn train roughly 750,000 people a year. Look, you get trained on how to drive a car. I don't know who has a job out there that you don't have some OJT on the job training. I don't know who would let their kid even mess with the stove and not walk. You can imagine yourself with them already, next to them showing them how the stove works so they don't get burned. Everybody gets some training somehow, some way. So what's so different about a weapon? If you're properly trained in the proper storage, use, and deployment, of a weapon, there really are no problems. My first weapon in my hand, I digress on that one, but my first official time having a weapon in my hand was when I was in JROTC, 22 caliber rifle, and we were doing marksmanship right there in my school. You could hear the repeat as kids walked down the hallway, kapow, kapow. There were weapons in my school. So, it's all about your mindset and what you really want that makes this whole gun thing an issue or not. This show is flying by just like this year is flying by. It's time to take a station break. We'll be right back. Go nowhere.
Saturday, in the park, I think it was the 4th of July. People dancing, people laughing, a man selling ice cream, singing Italian songs. Hey, my name is TootsSweet, and I'm New York City's original artist, singing for the cause of freedom. I've spent the last 10 years of my life documenting history through my music. It's like a recipe that's blessing me, bringing out the best of me, aggressively testing me to create my own destiny and understanding, universally accepting adversity and learn more lessons in life than you're learning any. And when I'm in need of a dose of reality to escape the liberal land of make-believe, I tune in to the Southside Unicorn, where the truth is as solid as New York City concrete. My name is TootsSweet, and you're listening to my friend Ken White on the Southside Unicorn, and this party's just getting started.
Hey, my man TootsSweet. I'm telling you, that is a true patriot right there. We have to support each other. Go ahead and catch him on Twitter at the handle at TOOTSSWEET, TootsSweet. He's got good music, man, and he's all about our country and our soldiers. You gotta support them, man. Now, when we left off on the first segment, we were on number 5. We're going to go to number 6 on 10 things that you did not know about the NRA. Number 6, the Eddie Eagle Gun Safe program is used to promote gun safety to minors. There it is. I mean, honestly, raise them up in the way that they should go, and they shall not stray. A weapon is evil. It's all about death. It's mysterious. When you have that in a kid's mind, and that kid's mind has worms in it, well, when he gets bullied or she gets bullied, when they feel they need to feel powerful, they're going to take that firearm because, see, there's no God to tell them no because they don't want God in the schools. There's no adults that tell them no because the parents aren't involved in the process of training these children, and the adults that are in charge of training them don't want no weapons inside of a school, don't want nobody touching them. Leave those dangerous things alone. So there's that young mind frustrated, in turmoil. And what do? They go get the most dangerous device we have on the planet, because that'll show them. That'll definitely even out the playing ground, won't it? Now, how about we give them kids some healthy, clean training? To date, the organization's Eddie Eagle Gun Safe program has reached over 25 million kids. The main message of the program is to teach kids that they should find a firearm and they should stop, do not touch, leave the area, and tell an adult. Despite the program's message, gun control advocates such as Violence Policy Center likened to the program to the late cigarette mascot Joe Camel. Now, you see how they do that? It's all about misdirection with these people. I mean, you can see it happening with this Ukrainian deal. The bottom line is the Ukrainians are a witness that should have been in the witness protection program, and Donald J. Trump is a sheriff trying to get to him, and the leftist Democrats are like the county marshal, and they're trying to use their official badge. Well, we'll take care of this case. It looks quite regular, and the sheriff is on the take. No, the sheriff is trying to get down to the truth. This ain't Joe Camel. Neither is the program from the NRA. Number 7, a majority of Americans have a favorable image of the NRA. According to a recent Gallup poll, 54% of Americans hold a favorable view of the NRA, while 38% have an unfavorable view. Putting this in perspective, a more recent Gallup poll shows President Obama holds a 51% approval rating, while 43% disapprove. See how that works? It's because of that man's presidency that the NRA, police officers, anything of authority started taking a straight hit when Obama became president. And we really need to pay attention to that, because this is the undo time. It's time to undo all that. Number 8, the NRA has 3 separate organizations. The NRA has 3 separate bodies. The NRA of America is mainly concerned with promoting training, education, and safety. The NRA-ILA is the lobbying arm of the organization, and the NRA Foundation is the charitable arm of the organization. I say charitable. That means that they're out there doing positive. They're out there doing good stuff. How is it that you can try to consider this organization to be evil when in the last 8 things I've shown you, everything is about uplifting, protecting, supporting, nurturing? Come on, y'all. Number 9, funding for the NRA might surprise you. According to the factcheck.org, nearly half of the funding for the NRA comes from membership dues alone. Like mine. I'm a dues-paying NRA member. Even got my NRA hat. I'm looking at it right now, sitting on that ledge right there. Think I might wear it today. Following donations to the NRA, however, still account for a majority portion of the remaining funding. This includes voluntary donations made during gun purchases at the point of sales, as well as programs like the Roundup campaign, operated by the NRA-ILA and retailers, where consumers can round a purchase up to the nearest dollar for donation to support lobbying efforts. With that said, gun manufacturers do donate to the NRA as well. For example, Sturm, Ruger, and Company ran the Million Gun Challenge in 2011, which directly tied gun sales to donations, with the target being $1 million. Now, what's wrong with that? They're organized, they're motivated, and they have a altruistic idea in what they do. They recognize the seriousness of the product that they support. And everything I'm showing you, everything that's mentioned about them, these 10 facts, literally point to the fact that the NRA is a helpful organization. They really are. Number 10, current stance on gun control. The NRA current stance on gun control is to enforce existing laws more aggressively In response to the Virginia Tech shooting, the NRA helped to pass the NICS Improvement Act, which would provide increased funding and grants to the states to report vital information to the National Instant Background Check System, the NICS, National Instant Background Check System, such as mental health. There's that word again. The NICS is used for background checks for potential buyers of guns. Unfortunately, the system has been woefully underfunded, receiving only 5.3% of the authorized funding. And reporting has been lackluster. In addition, the NRA has pointed out that those who lie on their background checks when purchasing firearms are, for the most part, not prosecuted. In response to this, Vice President Biden at the time claimed that they don't have the time to prosecute such violations, which, by the way, carries a minimum 5-year federal sentence if convicted under the Gun Control Act of 1968. Those are 10 facts that you didn't know about the NRA, and that last one is a butt kicker. This guy, Biden, are we starting to see how funky he is? You know, that's one funky white boy. This dude, you know, okay, fine, he had a fight with Cheerios or Captain Crunch, or what's this dude's name? Chicken Pops or something. I don't know. Bottom line is he's supposed to be so bad he got a chain, you know. This man is infatuated with chains. They gonna put us back in chains. He had a chain for, you know, Fruit Loops, or whatever that guy's name was. But Biden, he just said, we ain't got time to enforce these laws. We ain't gonna give you the money that you need to have the strength and the efficacy to make sure that these laws and rules are followed. And then turn around and say, give me your guns. Y'all better wake up. You better recognize. Speaking of dumb politicians, I want you to just catch this soundbite of these people, you know, talking about they're the ones who want to regulate our right and access to weapons. And these fools don't even know what they talking about. Check this out. Just take a listen to this track.
Dealing with a caliber weapon. I've held an AR-15 in my hand. I wish I had it. It is as heavy as 10 boxes that you might be moving.
An AR-15 weighs 7.5
pounds. That is utilized. A 50 caliber, these kinds of bullets need to be licensed and do not need to be on the street.
Are you, in fact, in favor of gun confiscation?
Yes, when it comes to AR-15s and AK-47s, weapons designed for use on a military battlefield, the high-impact, high-velocity round that is fired from those weapons, when it hits your body, expends all of its kinetic energy, destroying everything that's inside.
Well, let's just look at the assault weapons ban.
Yep.
We had one in this country for 10 years. Every single weapon used by the shooter in Connecticut would have been okay under the old assault weapons law. They were all exceptions.
Okay, so the law is flawed. Fix it.
Isn't it pretty hard to define what is an assault weapon? Because it's so easy to write around for manufacturers to create weapons that...
Well, if it can fire a lot of bullets very quickly, that's a good place to start, okay?
And hunters
then you
would
can
say...
argue what a lot is. Okay, let's pick it. Let's say 3. If you haven't hit the deer with 3 shots, you're a pretty lousy shot. That deer deserves to get away. Let's get serious here.
But that would ban most pistols. That would ban most...
No, but pistols are different. You have to pull the trigger each time. An assault weapon, you basically hold it, goes...
No, those are fully automatic weapons.
Okay. But just to be clear on the law, and I'll get with you on the politics, but on the law, he said, yes, you can have regulations, but remember what they struck down. You couldn't even tell people how to store their weapons, disassembled. And he says weapons in common usage get the protection of an individual right. The AR-15, for good, bad, or indifferent, is the most commonly owned in the country.
Yeah. Chris, I'm willing to fight that one all the way to the end because it is not common. It is unusual. And no one in this country, including owners of AR-15s and AK-47s, think that what is happening right now is okay.
The time has come, America, to step up and ban these weapons. The other very important part of this bill is to ban large-capacity ammunition feeding devices, those that hold over 10 rounds. We have federal regulations and state laws that prohibit hunting ducks with more than 3 rounds, and yet it's legal to hunt humans with 15-round, 30-round, even 150-round magazines.
This is a ghost gun. This right here has ability with a 30 caliber clip to disperse with 30 bullets within half a second. 30 magazine clip in half a second.
And there you have it. That's a clip of Beto O'Rourke, a couple other politicians. Right now the woman's name is just slipping my mind. But she claims she carried an AR-15 that weighed as much as 10 boxes of moving product. No, an AR-15 weighs 7.5 pounds, has a 7.62 millimeter round. Now look, don't put your life in the hands of an idiot. Don't let an idiot decide whether you and your family get to live or die. The wisest men and women that we've ever seen were part of the founding fathers, and they made the Constitution of the United States of America. They must have been aliens because they were absolutely on tip with that thing. We need to support it, defend it, and make sure that they don't mess around with it, okay? Now, that brings me to my homie TootsSweet. TootsSweet made a song about the NRA and all this gun grabbing stuff that they're trying to do, and he named it Way Too Far. So this is TootsSweet's song, Way Too Far, ladies and gentlemen.
Find a way now. Liberals trying to find a way how to take our guns away now. They got a double agenda, twisting every word they say now. Cause that's just how they roll, and that's just how they play when they're messing with our 2A. Ever since I can remember, they've been coming for the NRA now. Cause that's just how they roll, and that's just how they play. And they play dirty. Find a way now. Liberals trying to find a way how to take our guns away now. They won't stop until they find a way. Find a way now. Liberals trying to find a way how to take our guns away now. They won't stop until they find a way. We are the NRA, and we're here to say nobody's taking our guns away. Going too far, politicizing the tragedy to take away our firearms. Saying it's the last time, never again. Nobody's messing with us, Second Amendment they way. Way too far, politicizing the tragedy to take away our firearms. Saying it's the last time, never again. Nobody's messing with our Second Amendment they way. Find a way now. Liberals trying to find a way how to take our guns away now. You find yourself a dilemma if you're messing with the NRA now. Cause that's just how we roll, and that's just how we play. And let me tell you, there ain't no way we're ever gonna surrender to the fascist liberal left today now. Cause that's just how we roll, and that's just how we play here in the USA. Find a way now. The liberals trying to find a way how to take our guns away now. They won't stop until they find a way. Find a way now. Liberals trying to find a way how to take our guns away now. They won't stop until they find a way. We are the NRA, and we're here to say nobody's taking our guns away. Way too far, politicizing the tragedy to take away our firearms. Saying it's the last time, never again. Nobody's messing with our Second Amendment they way. Way too far, politicizing every tragedy to take away our firearms. Saying it's the last time, never again. Nobody's messing with our Second Amendment they way. Offended by everyone, they suppress the air in your lungs as they censor your conversation. It's a fascist declaration. Then they come for your guns until all of your freedoms are gone. We are the NRA, and we're here to say nobody's taking our guns away. Way too far, politicizing the tragedy to take away our firearms. Saying it's the last time, never again. Nobody's messing with our Second Amendment they way. Way too far. Politicizing any tragedy to take away our firearms. Saying it's the last time, never again. Nobody's messing with our Second Amendment. Yeah, gone free zone is like a megaphone, going out to every psychopath feeling alone. They can go out on the attack with no one shooting back and get their face on the 10 o'clock news. Hey, hey. Way too far. Tell me, how does it feel? All those lives that you ruined. Way too far. Just to be another fool that was used as a political tool. Way too far. Tell me, how did it feel? You're a fool that was used like a tool. Saying it's the last time, never again. No way we're giving up our guns because of fools like you. Yeah, how does it feel? You're just a fool that was used as a tool. And there ain't no way we're giving up our guns because of fools like you. Yeah, how does it feel? You're just a fool that was used. And there ain't no way we're giving up our guns to the liberal fascist scum because of fools like you.
And that was TootsSweet with Way Too Far. You can reach him on Twitter at HEYTOOTSSWEET. Hey TootsSweet. We have to go for a station break, ladies and gentlemen. Ran a little bit over. We'll be right back after these messages.
Saturday, in the park, I think it was the 4th of July. People dancing, people laughing, a man selling ice cream, singing Italian songs.
Hi, Joy Villa here, reminding you to tune in to the Southside Unicorn Show, hosted by my friend Ken White.
Hey, everybody. That's right. Thank you. It is the third segment, and I love having you guys here. I'm getting a lot of feedback. There are people out there on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everywhere, and they're giving me the feedback. We're going to talk about it later on tonight, guys, because spending time with you all is what I love to do. But let me just take a microsecond to put this out there. This morning, I got a personal message, private message off of Facebook from what was considered to be a fellow conservative, a fellow Republican, a MAGA, if that's how, you break it down. And they were upset with me because I manage my page. If you come on my page and you come with put downs, insults, derisions, tauntings, hey, I'm going to ask you nicely to cut it out because we all grown folk. And, I am not the boss of you. So if you can't control yourself, I give you a chance to go ahead and excuse yourself. But if you constantly interject into conversations and chats that are going on, because there are chats all over the place, I love it. I want us to have dialogue. I want straight, gays, leftists, rightists, conservatives, everybody, green, blue, purple, orange, polka dot, whatever. What's that one thing they got out there now? I can't remember the name of it. There's so many different things, but everybody's welcome, okay? But look, this person hit me up and they were angry at me. Why are you stopping me from attacking that Democrat? Why are you stopping me from attacking that fool? Woo, woo, woo. And I told them, we have to begin to learn to talk to each other anymore and not at each other. And being belligerent, that kills the message. And, they were saying, well, I just want to take my gloves off and deal with this person. And I responded back to them and I said, but if you take your gloves off, now the keys are too hot and your fingers are too hot and your message gets lost. And you have to wait until the keyboard calms down or cools down, and until you calm down and cool down. Keep your gloves on. Those gloves are made of asbestos. If you're going to get this wired up, this triggered now, this early in the game, you're not going to last till the election. And this is a marathon. This ain't no sprint. So we got to look at ways of how we're going to be okay in the years to come. If we just keep going at each other, there's no solution in that. There's no solution in that. Speaking of no solution in that, I wanted to touch back on what they're trying to do to our president with this Ukrainian thing. But before I do it, my man Waters, Jesse Waters, I've watched him on Fox. I don't know what I'm going to do with Fox going forward because they are kind of getting tricky there. What does the Fox say? But Jesse Waters himself, this man is evolving and he's becoming a really cool, do you want to call him a journalist or a commentator? You guys kick in on my Twitter and let me know what you think about what Jesse Waters is. Is he a commentator or is he a journalist? Chime in at Ken White 4444. But right now, before we get into I want to dig back into a couple things about the Ukrainian phone call report. But I want you to hear Jesse Waters. He crystallized what the heck is going on with the Democrats in his show, Jesse Waters' show. So I'm going to play that real quick. Take a listen.
Welcome to Waters World. I'm Jesse Waters. Impeachment. That's the subject of tonight's Waters Words. Go for it, libs. You've been wanting to impeach since the inauguration. Get it over with. Go crazy. See how it goes for you. It'll just die in the Senate. Then what? Trump's still going to get reelected. Then what are you going to do? What, are you going to impeach him again in his second term? This is just a cathartic exercise for Democrats. We all know it's just about rage and power.
Are you concerned that impeachment talk may actually help the president's reelection?
I'm concerned that if we don't impeach this president, he will get reelected.
Get it out of your system, and then maybe we could regroup later. Because that's what Americans want. Polls show a huge majority. 66% of us want Democrats to work with Donald Trump to solve the nation's problems rather than impeachment. They don't care, though. They've totally lost it. How did impeachment work out in the 90s? Congress had felonies on Clinton. Impeachment failed in the Senate, and Bill's numbers went through the roof. Now, let's look at the facts. What's the crime? Democrats can't explain it. Trump's the president of the United States. He runs the country. He has every right to know what's going on, everywhere in the world. It's his responsibility. If there's misconduct by a high-ranking American, Joe Biden, his son, or anyone in a foreign country, he needs to know what happened. Biden and his son aren't above the law. They can do shady things overseas and Donald Trump can't find out about it because he might run against them? Give me a break. There's actually a treaty that says an American president can ask Ukraine about crime and corruption. It was signed by Bill Clinton. I'm holding it right here. Go to my Twitter page and read it for yourself. Also, there's no quid pro quo. Read the transcript online. This week, when the Democrats realized there was no quid pro quo, Adam Schiff made it up.
I'm going to say this only 7 times, so you better listen good. I want you to make up dirt on my political opponent, understand lots of it. And by the way, don't call me again. I'll call you when you've done what I asked. This is, in character, what the president was trying to communicate.
Now, that was all fake, and he admitted it later. But they have to sex this thing up just to sell it. Now, this is a quid pro quo.
We're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said. I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours? I looked, I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Oh, son of a got fired.
Biden threatened to withhold aid to an ally if they didn't fire the prosecutor investing his son's company. We should call him Quid Pro Joe. Trump was also asking Ukraine to look into how this whole Russia hoax started. Because the Ukrainians, Fusion GPS, and the DNC, they were all caught working together to get dirt on Trump and his campaign. So Democrats manufactured a crime, and now they're trying to manufacture a cover-up. Trump released a transcript of the call. He explained it on television, and even had his national intelligence director testify, all in 1 week. It's a pretty bad cover-up. Maybe he should have just acid-washed everything like Hillary. So there's no crime, there's no quid pro quo, there's no cover-up. Everything Democrats are accusing Trump of, they did. The threats, the collusion, the corruption, they're getting rich off the family connection. Now, it's not like Trump enlisted foreign agents to spy on and trap and investigate his political opponent to influence election. Oh, wait. That's what Obama, Biden, and Hillary did. The left expects Trump just to lay down and take it. They can smear him and spy on him, sue him and investigate him, conspire and collude against him. But so when he fights back, they call that a high crime. But here is the real story. This is just another coup. The intelligence community is out of control. They've been out to get Trump from the jump. Now, the witch hunt failed, so this is just part 2. The New York Times reports the whistleblower is CIA. But read his report. He didn't act alone. It's just another sophisticated inside job like last time. Leaks, fake news, and sabotage. The very same playbook they used before. The Russia hoax failed, so Trump had Bill Barr investigate the investigators. Here it is. The intel guys know their plot's about to be exposed, so they're just trying to destroy Trump before he destroys them. That's why Bill Barr's named in the complaint. They have to discredit him before his report comes out and force him to recuse while they're at it. This is war, and it's going to get ugly. But America, here's the deal. The truth always prevails, and the people have the power. So sit back and enjoy the show, but don't let anybody steal your vote.
Now, he brought up a very good point. That's Jesse Waters off of his show, Jesse Waters, Waters World. Hey, he said don't let nobody steal your vote. Remember that 90-pound guy that I was talking about earlier in the first segments? Yeah, that's what the Second Amendment is all about, to make sure nobody can steal your vote. Now, capitalizing off of what he said, dealing with the Ukrainian debacle, on Friday night's show, I did bring up the point of two things. That's why I just threw the whole report on the floor after that, because there's only two sections you need to see, ladies and gentlemen. Print out the report yourself, the Ukrainian phone call that has 5 pages, and then follow along. This is all you need from it. The devil is a liar. That's why he likes to complicate things, you know. The truth is a simple thing. Like they say, eliminate the impossible. No matter how improbable, whatever remains must be the truth. The truth tends to be the most simplest answer. The report is only 5 pages long. The answer from the so-called whistleblower is 9 pages long. Somebody lying. 9 times out of 10 it's the one with the long answer. Okay, look, go to page 2. Go to President Zelensky's response to Trump. This is Zelensky's response to Trump. He says, well, yes, to tell you the truth, we are trying to work hard because we wanted to drain the swamp here in our country. We brought in many, many new people, not the old politicians, not the typical politicians, because we want to have a new format and a new type of government. You are a great teacher for us in that. Look, if the man's trying to be like you, if the man's trying to be down like you, you ain't got to threaten him. So this lie, this beautiful fantasy that Schiff probably reads, the way he talks, he reads those sex novels that don't have no pictures in them, just all about the salacious sex. He's good at weaving imagery and lies for you. Now on page 3, President Trump's response to Zelensky is, I would like for you to do us a favor, though, because our country has been through a lot and Ukraine knows a lot about it. I would like for you to find out what happened with the whole situation with Ukraine. They say CrowdStrike. I guess you have one of your wealthy people, the server. They say Ukraine has it. They have the server of CrowdStrike. Now, that's what I call a Richard Kimball moment. That's a Richard Kimball moment. Because if you remember Richard Kimball in The Fugitive, he broke away from law enforcement control to do what? To find the real killer. To find the real culprits of the crime. Right there, ladies and gentlemen, if Donald J. Trump was colluding with Russia, who's right next door, who if he was one of their boys, he ain't trying to mess with Ukraine. Do you see it? It is really that simple. If Donald J. Trump was guilty of Russian collusion, he ain't touching that no kind of way. He don't want that server. He don't want nothing to do with it. You see what I'm saying? But he is after the server. He is after whoever in the heck made all that stuff come together. That's the actions of an innocent man. That's the actions of a man who's trying to vindicate himself. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the crux of Dr. Richard J. Kimball. Okay, so when I did the show on Friday and I named it, Donald J. Trump is the fugitive, we need to look at him that way. We need to understand what he's doing. Let nothing, the Democrats say, touch or phase you in any kind of way, because, I'm sorry, the devil is a liar and they're being exposed. But now, honestly, if you're going to stand in the face of, okay, let me use one of my metaphors real quick before we go into the next segment, right? Watch this. If you are in a room with a vampire and you realize, and this is metaphoric, and you realize that you're in the room with a vampire, you better not let that vampire know that you know. Because see, they put it on the front, they put it on the face. Oh, Hi, sit down, but don't bring the wooden stake. I don't like tacky things. And you look beautiful tonight, so there's no need for a mirror. And don't bring garlic. I don't like garlic on my steak. I just like salt and pepper. Man, you in front of a damn vampire. And you better recognize. But what I'm trying to say to you is this. Don't deal with Democrats. Don't stand up to them unless you really, really, really ready for that ugliness to come out, because it's going to. That's what Jesse Waters was trying to tell you. He's saying it's going to get ugly, y'all, because we're going to do one or two things going hurling, and I say hurling towards 2020. We're going to do one or two things. We're going to capitulate or we're going to fight. Which one are you going to do? And I hope you make the right choice on that. Now, we're going to have to take a station break, and we will come back. And I want to introduce another new performer to you, and I'm doing this because he is supporting Patriots. So when we come back, we're going to showcase a song from a gentleman named Joesf Glaude. Okay, he's an advocate for veterans working with the Soldier's Wish. We'll profile one of his songs when we come back from this message. We'll be right back. Hey, we're back in the fourth segment and last segment. Man, this show went fast. Had a lot of fun with it. An hour is just not enough. We might have to try to get some donations up in here, some sponsorship, something going on so that we can go ahead and reach into that second hour. That would be really nice. When I was with iHeart and a show with Lou Desmond, I was a guest host on his show. We had the honor and privilege of doing a 2-hour show, and I can do it. I got the legs for it. Trust me, I can make it happen. But I need support for that. So let's see if we can try to get some support flowing in here and stretch this show out for 2 hours and get some, some things going. But now, in the fourth segment, we're going to go ahead and showcase a young man named Joesf. It's spelled Joesf Glaude, Gaude. He is an advocate for veterans working with Soldier's Wish. Okay. They have an event coming up on the 19th of October 2019 called the Bus Concert. He's been doing that for over 25 years. Now, let me get his bio stuff here so we can read it right and get you guys acquainted with this young man, because that's what it's all about. I'm a veteran, and I must admit it's nice to see, people who help veterans, especially wounded veterans. Though, I mean, I had a situation one time where I went over to the VA hospital, and I didn't even really want to go in because I'm like, there are people who need this more than me, so I don't want to be doing that. So my hat's off to people like Joesf Glaude who help our veterans. Now I want to read some stuff for him right quick. It said the most important gig is something called the Bus Concert. It is an annual event that he sponsors to help homeless vets, and as someone who he himself was formerly homeless, he says he has a unique understanding of the actual needs of the homeless. The Bus Concert collects new or used blankets and new or used underwear and socks so that they can pass them out. The concert will be on October 19th at 7 p.m. at the Resurrection Catholic Church in Tulsa, Oklahoma. The show starts at 7 o'clock. He says also he was honored and thrilled to perform for Jim Bridenstine on his election campaign. He was a Tea Party candidate. Now, to give you a better understanding of who Jim Bridenstine is, and that gives Joesf Glaude some bona fides, Jim Brighton is the administrator for NASA. He is the 13th administrator of this iconic organization, and he ran for political office. And so Joesf Glaude actually performed for him. So that puts some legs underneath everything that this young man is doing. And so we're going to showcase one of his songs. The song is called Keeping the Faith. Now let me make sure I give you all the information on what that's all about. I am an advocate working for veterans with Soldier's Wish, an organization that helps wounded vets when they return home. The song Keeping Faith was written specifically for Soldier's Wish and was titled to remind us that we need to keep faith with those who sacrificed for us. It will be added to the re-release of the CD Beautiful Distractions. So he gave us permission to use the song, and I'm going to introduce you to his song from Joesf Glaude called Keeping Faith, which we should, because, you know, soldiers come back and they get forgotten. That's not cool. Now, am I saying, you know, be like, you know, and kissing all the butt and whatnot? That soldier don't want that. I'll let you in on the tip. They don't want that. But they don't want to be forgotten either. So, yeah, thank you, Joesf Glaude, for what you're doing. And we're going to go ahead and feature his song right now called Keeping Faith. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a song called Keeping Faith, written by Joesf Glaude. It's spelled Joesf Glaude. You'll be able to get that song on his new re-release of a CD called Beautiful Distractions. There's a few other songs. One is called DEM Blues and Sugar in the Raw. All those will be available on that CD. That was a pretty good tune. I mean, you know, thank you to all the service members of our armed forces for your service and your sacrifice, and those who are redeployed, deployed away from home. Thank you. You know, remember everyone deployed, red, and this is what we need to do. Appreciation and gratitude is a spiritual thing, and I think the first people we need to bestow that on to would be service members and our children and our elderly. That's where it really needs to go first, and then we can take care of the rest. Look, I'm going to go ahead and give you some stats on football. I'm going to try to give these people a chance, but if they start doing that kneeling stuff again, I'm not feeling it with them. Football standings as of today, Saturday, is in the AFC. The East is Buffalo Bills is on top, three wins, no loss. Northern Conference is NFC North. It's AFC North. Sorry about that. It's Baltimore Ravens. South is Houston, Texas. West is Kansas City Chiefs. In the NFC North, Detroit Lions. South is that New Orleans? Yeah, that's New Orleans Saints. The East is the Dallas Cowboys at 3-0. And you got the West, believe it or not, the Los Angeles Rams, 3-0. You know, but I'm going to keep faith with my Green Bay. Green Bay going to come back. They always do somewhere in the season. So I'm going to try with all my heart to give the NFL a chance. They do all that political, pontificating. I'm out again. I was out for a couple years when they started that stuff with that Copernic dude. But yeah, I don't want to end on that note. This is, again, Joesf Glaude. You heard the song. It's a nice song. You heard from my brother TootsSweet. You know, all these artists out there, we got music to listen to, y'all. We got performance to listen to. We got entertainers, everything. We don't need Hollywood. Now, it would be nice if Hollywood would act nice, and we would just go back to doing what we always did. We like to watch the Grammys and the Oscars and all that stuff. We like to see the gowns and the tuxedos and all that. But they've been acting a fool. They need to stop acting a fool. And we'll come back to. We'll go ahead and get back into the game with y'all. But this has to be the goal of America at this point. Because, see, like, Jesse Waters said, this is going to get bad. We don't want it. We don't want it. The Republicans, the conservatives, the Christians, the decent people of America, we don't want conflict. There's one group of people, they want to take away everybody's rights. And then there's us. All we want is to be able to exercise our rights. So, as Rodney King used to say, can we all just get along? We better figure it out and remember a simple lesson, because some people got to go. They've been there too long. Brennan, if you saw that tweet that Brennan made today, that was wrong, that was criminal. That really showed what they got going on. They are going for the gusto, y'all. That's what Bill Maher came out and said the Democrats are going too far. I'm like, man, is he about to jump ship? Or is there a line of demarcation where you are no longer a Democrat? You're just a decent human being in America, and you can see the writing on the wall. If you're one of those, man, you need to go ahead and do what my friend Brandon Stroker and all the people over at Blexit are trying to get people to do. You need to hashtag walk away. Just leave. Because you know when things ain't right. And right now, the Democrat Party is not acting right. So it's probably time to walk away. Because I'll let you know the secret. If the Republican Party was doing what the Democrat Party is doing, I have enough gravitas. I have enough raising from my mama. I would get up and walk away. You guys need to think about what I said. This is Ken White, host of the Southside Unicorn Show. And this has been a great Wassup Saturday titled It's Defense, Not Offense. And I want to thank you for your time and your patronage and your donations if you do it. See you on Sunday.